Okay, so welcome back. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about adding numbers that have opposite signs. Okay, so they don't have the same sign. Okay, so what do we do in this case? Well, let's go to the number line and show what's going on with the arrows. Okay, so if I have, let's say, 2, and -3. So 2 is going which direction? 2 is going from 0 out to this way. So I'm going that direction, right? -3 is going out that direction. So what do I have to do? I have to do the same thing. I need to put the arrows head to tail, okay, or tail to end. Not tail to end, head to tail, okay? So I need to move one of these arrows so that the tail of one arrow is at the head of the other arrow. So if I move this one so that it's here, now how many units is it going to the right? It's going 2 units. And so what happens? I go this way and then I go this way and I end at -1. And so if I take -3 plus 2, that's going to equal -1. Okay? And if I would have moved this arrow to here, it would have still ended up on -1. So it doesn't matter which arrow you move, you're going to get the same answer. Which means, again, commutative law for addition. You could switch these around and you'll still get the same answer. Okay? Now, you could also think about this in terms of money, right? Like I did before. If I have $3 in my account and I owe someone $2, right? So that means it's a negative number. If I add those two together, right? $3 and then I have plus a -$2 that I owe, right? And so that's going to be -$2. So if I add those together, what do I have left in my account? I have $1, right? But it's positive, right? So that means 3 plus a -2 is +1, okay? But the arrows also is a nice visual, okay? But that brings us to the steps, right? So in general, this works, right? For adding numbers with opposite signs or unlike signs. So all you do is you take the numbers, right? So you take the numbers and you ignore the signs, right? So you just make them both positive. So you take the absolute value, in other words, you take the absolute value of the numbers, and what do? You subtract those values. You subtract the smaller number from the larger number. So you always subtract the smaller number in absolute value from the larger number in absolute value in step 1, okay? Then you take that difference, and then whatever that difference is, you give it the sign of the larger number that you started with, whichever number was larger in value, okay? Not in absolute value, but value, okay? And that's the steps, okay? So let's do some examples and you'll see how this works very nicely.